ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bald Explorer Live. Yes, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, the man who goes wandering around the countryside, filming those delightful walks across landscapes and heritage and goodness knows what. And this is my live show, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this for the very first time and you've stumbled across it and you think, hello, this is a bit of a different format, what it's all about. I've seen him out wandering across doing the walks and things in the countryside. This is my live show. Goes out on Facebook live Monday to Friday at 8. I was going to say GMT, but it's British summertime now. British summertime. So if you're a bit confused, that's what this is. This is the community show for all the fans of the Bald Explorer and those who enjoy what I get up to. We all gather around our little old transistor radio sets, as in the old days, and we hover around our laptops and tablets, and we contact one another, and we talk about the walks and the heritage and the bits and pieces that we've been getting up to in the week. That's the purpose, ladies and gentlemen, of this show. And of course it's a live show, so it's always nice to go and see who is actually out there in the world watching. And we've got the wonderful Julia, we've got Jane, we've got Mark, we've got Kevin, we've got Andy and John Berger, we've got Chris Puller, we've got Mark Selwood, we've got Ed Warren, we've got Still Pilford. I mean Steve, I beg your pardon, Steve. You're still there, which is great. He hasn't moved since the last show, which was a few days ago. And actually, I should explain, I've missed out 2 shows, ladies and gentlemen. 2 shows. I've been away, you see, ladies and gentlemen. I've been away. I actually had some corporate work to do, which was a bit of a shame. Well, it's going to be okay for the bank manager, I suppose. Pays off a few of those debts that one accrues. But it means that I've actually missed the show. I've missed it. I've missed you guys. You know, I was driving up north and I was thinking to myself, where is everybody? I was virtually doing the show from the car as I was driving along. I had the window down and I was going, hello, as other cars went shooting past, you understand. Hello, vroom. That's the Bald Explorer live, doing it here in the car. They weren't impressed, I have to say. I don't think they realised it was me, this sort of bald bloke with glasses, belting up the old M1, as indeed I was. But hey, never mind all that. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you, band. Thank you, band. I've just seen Paul Hine come through. Now, Paul, this is just to show you what a live thing this is and the community this is. Please, can you let me know, are the emails, are the Naked Englishman digest and the advanced viewings of the videos coming through to you? See, Paul is one of my very special people. He is a patron of Vobes and he supports the Vobes. And, Paul, I just want to make sure, because I know there's been a little bit of a hiccup. Are you getting the stuff now? I've tried messaging you on Facebook, and I am now doing it, broadcasting it. Hello, Paul! I'm doing it live, so it'll be interesting to know if you are actually getting all that, and if there's still a problem, let me know. We might have to try a different email address or do something different. Anyway, so I've made that announcement. I've done that out the way. I'm just looking to see if he has... No, not yet. Okay, so, Paul, I have been sending out the stuff to you. You are on the thing. I've been answering your emails, and they're not coming through, so I don't know what's going on. There must be something to do with that email address. Do you have another email address? And if so, where could I send it to? Because I'm clearly not getting through to you. Does anybody else have any problems? Maybe there's somebody who could do a test email to Paul to see if it's going through, then that would help. Anyway, let's crack on with the show. So I've been up into the East Midlands, ladies and gentlemen. I had to disappear for work, which is, I know, a bit of a blow for everybody, but one does need to do that. And I actually am going to be up there in a couple of weeks' time. This time I shall be in Newark, which is very nice. Newark's a very old market town. It's lovely. So I'm going up there for another single day. But I'm back early. That's the thing. From this trip, I'm back early. Everybody thought I was going away. Well, I thought. My client had booked me for 2 days. And I shot up on Tuesday in the evening. Shot up there, arrived there about 11 o'clock night. Found this slightly dodgy hotel, which I later discovered was in a dodgy part of town where if you go through the park at night or even wander the streets, you're likely to have that or your throat slit. There we go. Your throat slit and your gizzards pulled out and any loose change hot-footed away by the likes of the locals. So I didn't know that, luckily, because luckily I only arrived there late at night, so I didn't bother to go anywhere, and I stayed in my room. And I was advised, lock your door. Well, I was only advised that after the thing, and I just didn't lock the door. It had a chain on it. I should have noticed the chain and the big bolts going across and the massive key that one has to turn. I didn't really, pay much attention to that. I just let the door slowly close and that was it. And, within minutes, ladies and gentlemen, I was stripped down, pulling on my pyjamas and then snuggling up into the very thin. At first I thought, had they actually made the bed? It just looks like it was the mattress with a very thin sheet over the top. But it was actually a duvet, but it was duvet. It was much more like I don't know what you would call it. It was much more like a dishcloth, an oversized dishcloth, which I pulled over to me. Fortunately, the heating, though, at this particular place was pretty good. Normally, I like to open the window and get some fresh air in, but because this duvet was quite small and the heating was powerful, I was actually okay. So please don't worry about it. I haven't. But who knows what you contract in these slightly dodgy hotels. It was cheap. You see, it was cheap. It was cheap. Oh, I know. I'm a bit of a skinflint. I didn't want to spend too much money. Actually, because it was 2 nights, I got a discount on the rooms. And that's what swayed it. I got 2 rooms for the price of 1 night. So I sort of thought, well, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? And apart from those strange figures, the silhouetted figures that were creeping around the room looking for precious things, apart from them, the night was pretty uneventful. And I had some nice dreams, so, you couldn't ask for more. Timothy Wareham says, I have lots of problems, but receiving your emails is not one of them. Yes, you're probably getting too many of them. I do send them out every day. Nice town, Newark. Check out the castle. I've been to the castle, actually. The castle was involved, as many people know, in the English Civil War in Newark. And there is the English Civil War Centre now in Newark, which is very nice, lovely museum. And you can go in and wander around and look at cannonballs and musket barrels. And there'll be mannequins with round heads and cavalier hats on their head. Nigel Cooper is checking out. He's looking fine, Fettel. Thank you, Nigel. Good old Nigel. Cosy, you slimpin' shlam slappers yippers. Snuggy, you snimpy doobity. Sorry, that was a private message to my mate Nige, who appeared in Snug and Cosy back in the old days with the theme tune that you may remember. Bum, 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 bum. Maybe you don't remember that, but Nigel and I used to bounce about in these oversized spacesuits, live on CITV, as they used to say in the old days. By the way, quick aside to Nigel. Nigel, we've got to get together and record a little video for Sarah Montgomery because she's getting married. And I've been asked if we would record something. I've been meaning to get hold of you, so I'm doing it now live on the show. But she's getting married. She's getting married. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when Nigel and I were in Snug and Cosy, a TV series on ITV back in the, back in the 90s, ladies and gentlemen, in the 90s, sloping kitchens, back in the 90s, there was this lovely young girl who was she 11 or 12 when she was doing the show? She was very young, and she was called Emily. The character she was playing was Emily, and that real name's Sarah. Well, she's now 72, ladies and gentlemen, and she's getting on her 3rd marriage. No, of course not. I don't know how old she is. She's in her 30s, I think, and she's in her 30s. My God. And she's getting married, and she's a fitness instructor, I believe, and golly, you wouldn't have believed it. It's amazing. Anyway, so we've got to get together and make a little video, and they're playing them in at the wedding, I think, or something like that. So that's what we've got to do. Come on, Nige, give us some dirt on the Vobes, says Andy. And of course, Nigel, we need to get you in the live studio so that we can chat about things. And one evening, when you're free, we'll come and do a live show. You've got to come and do a live show. Snug and Cosy, reunited. We're certainly snug and cosy in this back room, I can tell you. So that would be good. And actually, bear that in mind, because if I have to go up north, you may have to come in and cover the show. You've still got a bald head, haven't you? So Paul Hine says, damn, I've missed the anniversary of the Battle of Sheraton in Hampshire back in 1644. I must visit the battle site soon. Yeah, well, that's it. So Nigel's saying a big thumbs up. So anyway, so there I was. So we've got an extra show today because I was the actual one of the days was cancelled, and I am here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with all you lovely people, which is absolutely superb and fantastic. And I'm very appreciative that I've managed to get back in time to do it. So now, one of the people I actually met, because when I'm out and about, if I am close to you guys when I'm on my travels, it's always lovely to go and meet up with somebody. And it so happens that Philip, now is Philip out there? Is Philip Naylor watching? Because I met up with Philip Naylor. Are you there, Philip? Because he was there the other night, and he was there last night, which was absolutely amazing and fantastic. And I met him for the very first time opposite the dodgy hotel that I was staying in, and he very kindly bought me a meal. He bought me a drink, not an alcoholic drink, because I had a long drive ahead. It was about a 4-hour drive coming home last night. But he gave me a lovely meal. I had some sort of pie thing with veg and bits and bobs, and it was delicious, actually. It was very nice. And we had a good old chinwag. Now, the funny thing is, of course, whenever I meet people and I say to them, I say, oh, you know, I've been doing this. He says, yeah, I know that, Richard. I listen to your podcast. I watch your live stuff. I know exactly what you do. I know all about you. And I said, well, this is really weird because you watch me. You know everything about me, but I don't know anything about you. So it's a great thing for me to turn the tables and say, so, Philip Naylor, tell me about what you get up to, because I knew he worked on roofs and he was telling me of his love of heights. Not fear, I mean, I would be rubbish at it, but his love of heights. We had a great conversation, and part of that conversation was, I said I don't like heights, so I would be scared climbing up onto a roof or doing something like that. And then I thought, but wouldn't that make a great video if we could get somewhere, I don't know, a heritage site of some description, somewhere that's not too, not graded, but somewhere nice and old and of interest, and that if we could get Philip then to take me up safely onto a roof or climb up a chimney or something like that, it would make great content. It would, because I would be... well, I'd be wetting myself, ladies and gentlemen, because I would be finding it very, very scary. But in his hands, I felt very, very... well, I would feel. I'm saying I would. I felt. I mean, I would feel very secure. Very nice man. Now, we went out for a walk afterwards in the early evening, before I set off home, and we went through this park. I think the park was called The Forest. This is up in Nottingham, by the way, in Nottingham. Nottingham. I'd like a one-way ticket to Nottingham, please. Oh, Malcolm, you can't go to Nottingham with your nose up that... Anyway, old advert. So we went out for a walk, and now I've got a picture. I said we've got to do a selfie. We've got to do a selfie with Philip. So I just want to double check. Is he out there? Have you seen him? Has he said... Yes, there he is. He is there. Marvellous. I'm talking all about you, Philip. It was so nice to meet you. It really was. And thank you again for that meal. It was so lovely. And, you know, all the kindnesses and all the lovely things. We had a good old chat about this, that, and a little bit of the other. But let's not go down on that conversation. Certainly not publicly. Anyway, we did this rather terrific selfie, and here it is. This is, I think, in the park. So I'm the one with the hat on, and Philip's the ugly one with glasses. No, I'm only kidding. It's the other way round, of course. He's the handsome one with the designer stubble in the leather jacket, looking very suave. I'm sure all the ladies now swooning, and I'm the pillock on the other side with the glasses and the silly smile. But anyway, so there we are. I will put that picture up in the group tomorrow or later tonight or whatever, just as a sort of a big thank you to Philip Naylor. And if you would like to meet the Vobes... if you'd like to meet the Bald Explorer, no, don't all run away. No, I'm not that. Philip, tell them I was all right. I was okay. I wasn't too mad. I didn't embarrass you too much, sitting there in the pub going, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Bald Explorer. I'm in your pub." I didn't do any of that nonsense, did I? I was quite tame. It was lovely. It was so nice. It's so nice meeting all these wonderful people. So hopefully, Philip will say something nice that it was a good evening. So thank you for that. So we had a lot of fun. Now, talking about another viewer to the Bald Explorer. Recently, I went out and I met up with a chap called Richard Suggett. And now I don't know if Richard Suggett out there watching, because because he grew up in a place called Pulborough in West Sussex, and there was this, I mentioned it the other day on one of the shows, that he grew up and there was this strange moat, but with no house, and it's a grade 2 listed piece of, well, not property, but it's, well, I suppose it is property, isn't it? It's a bit of grassland. And at one time there was a manor house there. Anyway, he's always been a bit sort of mystified as to why it was there and why the moat was there, whether the moat was wet or dry, and all these sort of things. So I went over, and together we recorded a film. And funny enough, there he is. Richard's there as well. So that's marvellous. It's so. This is terrific. When it works really well, doesn't it? So, Richard, I have a picture with Richard, and here he is. It was a pretty cold day, as you can see. Richard looks like he's shivering there, but there we're standing. It looks like there's a goalpost behind us, but it's not a goalpost, actually. I don't know what that is, but that piece of land behind him is surrounded by a square moat, a dry moat, although slightly boggy it was. And we did a little bit of an exploration and some speculation. Probably got all our facts wrong, but never mind. You know, that's the nature of the beast. And Richard very kindly took me round, and then we had a little walk round the area and went up the hill a bit further and found another manor house and all sorts of bits and pieces. We had a lovely conversation. So it was so nice. But I also discovered that Richard has a podcast. And I thought this was amazing, you know, and I was so chuffed, of course. And he has a podcast called The Veg Growers Podcast. And as you can imagine, it's about fixing lawnmowers. So, no, not fixing lawnmowers. What was it? Oh, yes. It's about vegetable growing. It's about vegetables and having an allotment. Although at the moment, there's a lot of activity in, what is it you say? It's incubating quail's eggs. So I've been fascinated to, because he does do occasional videos, but it's mainly a podcast on a Monday night. At the moment you can get episode 161, so it's not a new thing, he's been doing it a while. 161, very good, worth a listen. If you've got green fingers and you can't get them clean, then you have a listen to this podcast. I even get a mention, which is terrific, because Richard, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be here with me next week. I believe it's Wednesday we're going to be doing it. Next Wednesday, live. And we're going to be talking all about vegetables and gardens and vegetable gardens and gardens that have vegetables in them and vegetables and vardens. So, you know, any mixture of those two concepts is what we're going to be talking about. We'll be trying some vegetables, not in a garden, unfortunately. But I have had a word with Ed Warren. What is Ed out there? But I'm sure he is. I've had a word with Ed Warren, and I said, I want to bring the live show from Ed Warren's garden. So I'm linking all these themes are linking up. And Ed said, yes, more than happy. He's going out because he doesn't want to see me, obviously, and taking the wife and kids. He said, yeah, use the garden, clean it up after you, don't leave a mess, but we won't be there. I said, no, that's not the idea. You've got to be there. After all, I need that bacon sarnie halfway through. So yeah, we're going to bring a live show from Ed's garden from North Chapel in West Sussex, up there near Black Patch. We're hoping that we get enough Wi-Fi to sort of beam it out to you. So that's coming up. That's not next Wednesday, but next Wednesday, Richard Suggett will be here, and we'll be talking about garden stuff, growing stuff, and maybe a bit of history and a bit of walks and a bit of who knows what. So all that kind of stuff. So it's all very exciting, isn't it? Very, very exciting. I had a word with a chap called Peter Hill at West Blatchington, West Blatchington Windmill. And I did a talk last week, or earlier this week, I think it was, about, helping windmills get some traction going on Facebook and things, and talking about how to make videos and all that. And so I said to him, look, I want to do a tour around your windmill for my fans, because they'd love to have a little guided tour that we go around and have a look at a windmill. He said, yep. No problem, Richard. He said, we're in a bit of a mess at the moment. Can you come up in early May? I said, yes, because my diary's getting a bit busy, because I'm off to Glastonbury, of course, with the lovely Julia. So I said, I need to recover from that. But after that, it'll be lovely to go up your windmill and play with flour. I don't know whether I don't think the windmill actually works anymore, but he's got all the stuff, and it's a lovely windmill. I went and had a quick brief look round when I was there before, so that's terrific. So the diary of events, the things that are happening, is pretty exciting. Let's go and see what you're gabbling on about down there in the old what's the name, and I'll bung a bit of music to cover my embarrassments. Why not? So Nigel says egg cups is very funny. I'm not quite sure what that's reference to. Where is your note, Maggie Walters? It's not acceptable. Oh, that's Julia there is, of course, now made into admin. She's head girl now. She's in her gym slip at the moment. She sent me a picture just before... No, that sounds rude, doesn't it? She's in her school mistress's outfit. No, the fantasy now is going a bit beyond things. But she wants to know where your note is anyway. Ed's here, which is good. Nigel's got a thumbs up. Maggie Walters says hello. She's noteless. As long as she's not senseless. I'll drive you senseless by the end of the show. That's my prerogative, I'm afraid. Mark Selwood says, Ed's garden on the historic trail. Yes, you see, it's a shame we didn't do it over Easter, because we could have done a bit of an Easter hunt in Ed's garden. We could have been hunting around, or even the farms, or all of North Chapel, or right up on Blackdown, and hidden Easter eggs, and the Vobes' scent hurtling around. I once did that in Harriet's garden. She very kindly bought about 10 or 12 Cadbury's cream eggs, and she hid them in the garden one Easter, on Easter Sunday, and she sent me out looking for them, and she's never laughed so loudly since. All the neighbours were peering out, looking out and going, what's going on down there? Look at that bald twit running around. I was so gleefully skipping through her primroses. It was quite fun. Maggie Walters says, I've never visited a windmill. I'll put that on my wish list. You really should. You really should. They are great fun. It's one of our historic landmarks. They've been there for a long time, and they're disappearing fast. We know that the one crossing hands is sort of crumbling away, and they're trying to raise some money. So you really should try and get down there. Mark says, how does Julia deserve to be head girl? Well, that's a question, of course. That is a very interesting question. It's really about offering your services, is how that comes about. But let's not go down that line too far. Anyway, so that's basically what you're gabbling on about. I've opened my mouth too widely and something dodgy's come out of it, but that's not unusual. So let's move on to another thing. Connecting now the lovely Julia and the lovely Ed together, because Ed and Julia are getting together to do a walk around Petworth House. You notice how this is all dovetailed, ladies and gentlemen. This show is dovetailed, that the links all just mesh. We've had two Richards together, and then we've had gardening, and then we're going into a garden, and then Ed and Julia have come up, and now they're going to be doing something in Petworth. I will be there just to chaperone, because secretly I think they've got the hots for each other. So I shall be there, keeping them apart, making sure there's no naughty stuff going on. Not in Petworth Garden, because there's all those lovely stags and not elks. I don't know what an elk. What's the difference between a stag and an elk? I haven't a clue. I know they're not elves. I know that much. And then I don't know if they've got roe deer or oh dear, or any other kind of... oh dear, no, shush, stop it. I'm digging myself into a hole. So that's Petworth. I've done the Blatchington Mill. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's save ourselves from this nonsense, and we'll go into the gallery and see what you lot have been doing down in the group. Down in the group, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are, in the group. Now, just to explain, the group, for those that don't know, on Facebook there's a Bald Explorer page, and then there's the Bald Explorer group. And the group is where basically all the fans get in, they can talk to each other, it's like a forum, post pictures, compliment each other, pat each other on the back, talk about me behind my back, say, awful things, and all that kind of stuff. And it's a nice little community that we've been building up. So the great part is that they post pictures of where they've gone and all that, and it's lovely. So if you're not a member of the group, get yourself over to the Facebook Bald Explorer group. It's free to get in, and you'll love it. You'll be welcomed with open arms, especially if you bring cake. So let's get and have a look and see what's going on. So here we go. This is Paul Hine. I think this is Paul Hine. Let me just check my notes now. Yeah, this is Paul Hine. And he's been to Thorney Island. There's a series of pictures there. What was interesting I found about this one, what I loved about this, is that you have to go to security. He says in his post, it's run by the MOD, the Ministry of Defence, and you have to sort of say who you are, give them your postcode details, and they'll let you in. And you can wander around the Thorney Island, down there near Portsmouth, I suppose. And then after that, you have to do the same old rigmarole to get out. So that's all a bit fun. This morning, good old Ed Warren was out, and the beautiful sunrise. I think that's a sunrise, he said. First thing in the morning, he said it's just so lovely to be alive, which is one reason why I wanted to be doing the show live from his garden. Because you don't get these sort of views in Worthing unless you get down to the seafront, of course, and it's slightly different. Now, here we go. This one is a bit of a tease, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a tease, because this is Matthew Holdsworth, and he's been asking where in Romney Marshes is this church. And if you know the answer, apparently there is a table for two for you and Matthew. No, I might be making that bit up. It's quite a nice idea to do a bit of a tease. If you want to give us a bit of a tease, where are you with a photo, then that would be great. So here we are. This is somewhere on the Romney Marshes. Now, I did do some filming on the Romney Marshes a few years ago for one of the Bald Explorer episodes, and there were a number of these sort of churches, a number of deserted churches. I don't know if this is one of the deserted ones. I don't know, so I'll be interested to know if you can work that out. On the other hand, here, ladies and gentlemen, this particular picture, this, you should be able to recognise, is the tower at Leith Hill, and Matthew Holdsworth and his son went up there the other day, took some lovely pictures of up at Leith Hill, and I know a number of people are familiar with Leith Hill. It's a lovely place, and it's got its own history and all this, and I must go up there and take my camera. So maybe somebody would care to accompany me up Leith Hill. So if you're interested in coming up and doing a walk around a bit of Leith Hill and doing some filming, get in touch. That would be absolutely magnificent. Here, this is a building that this is my new mansion. They're just putting the finishing touches to it. Mainly the ivy on the side there and the mould. I'm going to be living underneath the arches. You can see the vaulted ceiling. No, of course, I'm talking rubbish as ever. This is Cynthia Walder's lovely photograph, and again in the group there's a number of these of Waverley Abbey, and I'd been there some time ago, and you may have noticed I posted a podcast with my friend Mr. Pegram, who I'd made the podcast with some years ago. I mean, we are talking about nearly 10 years ago when we went there. But Waverley Abbey, lovely, and the reason it's in that situation is because of the dissolution of the monasteries, and I tell the story in the podcast a bit more clearly, but certainly Cynthia's got some lovely pictures and definitely worth looking. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, our gallery view here, this is the lovely Charlie Harris, a student at the Welsh University. She's part of a group called Cantus Lampid, and they're putting on another choral singing in Wales. So I don't know if anybody of my listeners is based that way. On May the 6th, they're going to be doing it, I think, at the campus. Anyway, Cantus Lampid at the University of Wales. Fantastic. So I do hope to get over there at some point. I don't know if Charlie happens to be watching. A lovely young lady who'd been in touch, sort of randomly got in touch and said this is what we're doing, and it's so nice that people do that, so thank you very much. She's a member of the group as well, so get yourself over there. That would be superb. It's always good to do that. Tomorrow is Good Friday, and it means everybody gets a day off on Good Friday, because that's the way it works, unless you happen to be in a chocolate egg shop, when of course you'll be open selling chocolate eggs. I will be doing a show on Good Friday. If you have got nothing better to do and you want to come along and have a watch, God knows what's going to be in it, but I can tell you the lovely Julia will be joining me here because we've got a number of things that we've got planned to tell you. Not least is the Glastonbury, because we will then be heading into Sunday is the 1st, isn't it, of April, and we will be going to Glastonbury. Julia and I are going to Glastonbury, for those that don't know. Here we go. This April, the Bald Explorer and the lovely Julia go to Glastonbury. That's not the music festival, ladies and gentlemen. No, we're going on a mystic expedition. We're going to find out the magic of Glastonbury and what goes on. We hope to find some druids. We're setting up some interviews with people, and we're going to be going up onto the tour. I've told Julia already we're going to be getting up at the crack of dawn to get the sunrise there, and she told me, not on your Nelly, you're doing that on your own. So, because she does like a lie, she likes a nice lie-in, does our lovely Julia. Well, you know, she's got to rest the purple hair, absolutely. So, anyway, so she's going to be joining me tomorrow, which will be fantastic. So we'll be having a live show, but tomorrow, if you're a patron of the Vobes, by the way, if you're one of those lovely people who support the show, you'll already know what's happening tomorrow in terms of my walks video, because if you're a patron of the Vobes, that's somebody who sort of basically buys me a cup of coffee, or, you know, helps put a bit of petrol into the car in a monthly donation of whatever you want, £1, a couple of quid, £5, you know, the people are very, very generous. It helps the show. It's helped get Julia and I to Glastonbury. It's helped me to go to all the different places that I'm going to, and all that sort of malarkey. So you're welcome to be that. To become a patron of Vobes, check out thebaldexplorer.com, and that's all very good. You can be one of those special people. You get also The Naked Englishman, which is a daily podcast behind the scenes of what I get up to. Anyway, so if you're interested in that, that's it. But what I was really trying to say, if I can find the camera again, tomorrow's video will be, you may remember I did this little tour around the Regency House, Brunswick Square in Hove, this beautiful museum house that volunteers have started doing from 1984 and intricately are doing up bit by bit. It's not finished. It's a beautiful house, and they're making it absolutely authentic. They're not doing a replica, but they're doing it as it was with the real materials. And tomorrow's video is my trip around there. There will be some extra material of that for the patrons. There'll be some extra material of that because it's a special one. Paul Couchman took me round, very kindly took me round. I did a little interview with him, and there's some extra bits looking down a well and all sorts of things. But that will be coming. That's for the patrons. So if you are a patron, you do get a little bit of extra stuff. Nobody's got that yet because I haven't edited it, but it will be coming. So don't panic. That's really cool. What else have I got? Oh, yes. So let's have a moment now. We'll have a bit of a quiz. Are you up for a quiz, ladies and gentlemen? Let's make sure you're still there. Kevin Hall says, I've been at modern day Goose Fair. Oh, yes, there we are. My late father told me what it was like. This is the Goose Fair up at Nottingham, I believe. And Philip was telling me all about it. It was absolutely fascinating. Have you set a date yet, says Mark? Presumably a date for the for Glastonbury. Yes. And I think it's the 23rd, the 24th and 25th of April that we will be going. I think that's what you're asking. Yes, Magical Mystery Tour. That's right. And so we will be putting up stuff while we're away. Might not be fully fledged edited videos. It may just be podcast because they're easier to edit and easier to record while we're going, and pictures. And most of that will probably go to the patrons and the supporters of it, because people have got together and really helped us to get there. So that's very important that we serve those people who've dipped their hands in their pockets and said. But everybody, we will then put together a week's worth of videos of our trip, which will be in the public domain for everybody. But the patrons and the supporters will get something extra, because, you know, that's the way we rock. That's the way we rock. So poor old Julia, if she thinks she's having a bit of a holiday and, you know, good time just to sort of have a snooze, she doesn't know the Vobes very well, because never mind her being the school mistress with the whip and stuff, I shall be snatching that off her, and I shall squeeze myself into that gym slip, and I shall be going, come on, Julia, we're climbing up there, we're going down there, we're going to find the runes, we're going to be shaking the bones, we're going to be reading the tea leaves, we're going to get a bit of shamanism, or whatever it is, and we're going to find the things. And also Julia is going to have a personal journey to discover her paganism. It won't be a comedy thing. It'll be she's got this serious idea. We'll talk about it a bit tomorrow, perhaps. But of finding her chi. She may not have known that, but that's what's happening. So anyway. So that's that. So we're up for a quiz now. Are you up for a quiz? A little short quiz before we disembark. So I went round the East Midlands. Do you know the East Midlands landmarks very well, ladies and gentlemen? I've just snatched some footage. This is just some footage. If I can, where is the footage? Oh, there it is. This is just some footage that I've shot. Actually, it's for my client. And part of what we do is we film some testimonials of people saying some nice things about the business that I'm working for. And in order to sort of plant it in the area, there's a montage, a sort of fast-paced montage of landmarks from the East Midlands areas. So I filmed this in a sort of funny way, really, so that when it goes together, it all's quite slick. But it doesn't look very slick when I play it in now, because these are just sort of the raw footage. But my question to you is, can you identify the landmarks? And I'll be interested if you know where they are, okay? So here we go. They're not photos, it's just video, so it goes quite quickly, so you'll have to sort of throw out your answers as fast as you can, okay? So let's see if this video thing works. Are you ready? So here we go. Here's the first landmark we started off. As you can see, I'm panning out a couple of times to see this gatehouse. I'll give you that. Close by, big clue, is this character. Who is he and what does it signify? There he is standing, doing something, which really gives the game away. The second landmark is this one. Different town, different city, different place. Very distinct. That's gone now. And then over here, another city, different place. Where is that? Do you know? And in the same place, another person. And do you know who that is and why he's holding his crown? And now it's gone black, because that was the Black Cat of Calcutta. So there we go. Did you get that? Shall I show them to you one more time and see if you can get it? Okay, so here's the footage one more time. Lovely gatehouse, some nice little yellow flowers of some description. There it is again. Who is this character? Do you know who that is? It's fairly obvious. It's a bronze statue, very important, of course, for this particular place. And where is he? This is a different place. Where is it? Do you know where it is? And what kind of building do you suppose it could be? And then we have the final place. Where is this and what is the building? And who is this character standing aloft and why is he holding his crown? So there we go. So that's it. Let's see if anybody's got any answers out there. I'm just looking. Mark Selwood reckons it's not Robin Hood. Kevin Hall says Nottingham Castle. Well, they were the easy. Paul Hine is saying, is it Harry Potter? Harry Potter. I don't think it's Harry Potter. What about the others? Any ideas on the others? Or are you a bit vague on those? The cricket ground. Is it a cricket ground? Pass. Yeah, I mean, the funny yellow building, I tell you, I don't know what it was really, to be honest with you. We went there. It's an arena. It's an arena of some description. It's supposed to be a well-known arena in Derby. That was in Derby. A hideous thing, in my opinion, but there we are. And then the final one was Paul. What's he saying? Is it Derby Cathedral? No, it's actually Leicester Cathedral. And the character there holding the crown, I assume, is Richard III, because he was found in a Leicester car park, wasn't he? He was left there, so he's holding his crown. So I think that is King Richard III. So I think that was that was just a bit of fun, wasn't it? That was a bit of fun, something to do. Right, what have we got here? Oh yes, okay. So now, ladies and gentlemen, slight musical interlude whilst I get my thoughts together. Merchandise. This is where I need your help, ladies and gentlemen. Need your help, ladies and gentlemen. Merchandise. It's been requested that we get something together which sort of, you know, brands us all as viewers and as walkers and makers of the programme, and you know, we're all a community, we're all together, which is fantastic. That's what we're supposed to be, and that's marvellous. So what can we get? Now, I made a suggestion in the Bald Explorer group that we could have some polo shirts with things like Vobing reporting, if you do that, or some logo. Now, I know that Gary Vaux very kindly made a little cartoon of the Bald Explorer, which could be made into a little tiny badge thing with his permission. I need to just double check he's okay with that, on a polo shirt, which would be quite nice, not too brash, and maybe a tiny little Bald Explorer thing, you know, a bit subtle. I don't want something that's too garish. But I'm after your ideas, ladies and gentlemen. If you could post them in the group, I mean, you can post them here, but it would be great in the group. What is nice is to have something that, you know, people will want. So, for example, if people did like the idea... Funky music there. If people did like the idea of the polo shirts, what I thought we could do is get the design up, make a picture of it, what it will look like, so everybody knows what it would look like. Then we could pre-sell them, because I haven't got the money to order them, and hundreds of them. You could make a pre-order. Then when we've got enough, say 10 or 20 or whatever it, you know, to make it worthwhile, I would then go to a company and get them all done. And have them individually sent out with a little note and a signed photograph or whatever, you know, so that you get that in your dimensions, because that's obviously it saves me then having to get 100 done that I never sell. So that's just an idea, and your input on this is crucial, because without your input, if basically you say, no, we don't want that, that's fine. But I'm just trying to find ways to connect with you. It's not about me making any money out of it. I'm going to do this all at cost. It's really about us being identified and that sort of thing. If you don't think it's a good idea, do let me know. But if you think it's... And if it's not shirts or that sort of thing, maybe it's mugs or maybe it's something else, and maybe you've got a suggestion. It doesn't have to be an expensive item. It can be inexpensive. I just thought it would be nice to have something that's... a bit better than, you know, a badge or a crappy thing. Anyway, that was the thoughts on that, because, you know, we're investing a lot of time and effort in it, you particularly, because you come here and watch it. So, you know, I just thought it'd be nice to do something very nice. So, see what you make about that. Car sticker would get the message out far and wide. That's true. Richard Suggett says drop shipping might work for merchandise. That sort of thing. Still think the website should be on it somewhere. Yeah, a little bit of publicity. I think that's true. Egg cups. Well, yeah, egg cups would be good. Anyway, the idea is I'll let it float out there. I'll keep coming back to it. There's no rush. There's no rush for this. It's really what the group thinks, and it would be lovely. You know, I think the shirts, the little polo shirts, because when the weather does get warm and perhaps we do have a meet-up, it would all be nice. We're all having our little... Anyway, that's just my thing. Now, I noted somebody put a comment on my YouTube channel to one of these videos of the live show, and they said, I'm paraphrasing, but they said they'd watched the walks and then they watched the live show, perhaps one where I went a bit more madder than normal. I haven't gone very mad today, and I know, you know, you like a bit of craziness, so you tell me. But I've had a lot of stuff to get through today. Look, I've got all that nonsense to get through. So, but somebody said oh, does this live show and the format that I'm doing do you think it puts people off? Because the walks are sedate and me wandering around going, hello, I'm Richard Vobes and blah blah blah, and then he hit this and he didn't know what to. It was like, you know, he obviously got a madder show than a nice mad show, where he's all wacky, on the wacky backy, that one. And I just wondered, it was a point, because when, you know, you take feedback and you think about it and you think, I wonder if that's true. So I'd be interested in your thoughts again, whether you think the show is okay as it is, whether it's too wacky, too silly, what kind of content you want me to do. I definitely want to get and take us out into live events, and we will do that as the thing warms up. I mean, anybody in Sussex today would have known that we've had a mad day of cold, rain, and then sun in the evening. It's been a most peculiar day. So we're just waiting for the weather to stabilise itself and then get ourselves out and about. But we will be doing that. I certainly want to get more guests, more interesting guests on, different people and what have you. So we've got Richard coming in next week, of course, and one of these days we'll get Ed down here, and who knows, we'll have lots of stuff going on. Well, Ed won't need to. We'll be going to Ed, of course we will. So I want to do more of that, getting the show out. So I'd be interested in your thoughts. Should it be the Vobes show? There you go. Well, it's kind of like the brand now is the Bald Explorer because of the walks and the heritage and the connection. This is really sort of like, head boy talking to the troops, really. That's how I feel this is. It's not... Anyway, so that was that. So that's really... all I've got for today's show, and I hope all of that made sense. If you want to carry on the conversations, then do post stuff in the group. That's really good on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube and you don't want to join in on the group, then do make the comments on Facebook, on the YouTube rather, and I do get down to them. I do read all the comments. I can't always reply to everything, but I do read all the comments. And part of my thing, I want to make this as a personal, friendly, more than many other channels. And I do read everything. I try and like, as much as I can and make comments. So please don't think that you're being ignored. Sometimes, it may be that you do post stuff and I just don't see it, of course. And as we grow and get bigger, that will be harder for me. But that's where people like Julia is very helpful for me. And that's one of the reasons she's head girl, because she's very, very good on Facebook. She's very au fait, and she goes in there and she likes everything. And I said to her, look, you could be my right-hand arm, so to speak, and just keep me alerted of stuff that I need to know, because as we get bigger, and I hope we do, it will need more eyes helping me. We've got Claire, of course, and Judith and Chris, who are all helping with the admin, which is fantastic, and I really appreciate all their help. Claire particularly has also been very good at organising our meet-up at the pub on the 28th of April. I said the 18th in the last show, and obviously I didn't engage my brain, but Claire has spoken to the bald landlord of the Castle Inn, and so he just needs to get numbers. So we put a poll up, not a poll, a thing in the group again to say, if you're going, do let us know, because we will have to organise the space fairly soon, just so that we can guarantee that people can get in, and midday onwards on the 28th of April. But still there's plenty of time. We'll try and get the numbers sorted out by the end of next week. Anyway, that's it really, ladies and gentlemen. It's Easter. I hope you have a fantastic Easter, whatever you're doing. Don't eat too much chocolate, otherwise you'll just have to get out and walk it off, which is that's a good excuse. But I will do a show on Good Friday tomorrow and on Monday. I don't have a life, so I'm here. This is my life. I enjoy doing it. So there we are. Why wouldn't you? So take care, and of course when you hear this music, you will know the show is sadly coming to an end. But thank you so much for all the lovely messages. Anne says the madder the better. I'll make sure I'm a bit more mad in tomorrow's show. I'm not sure how Julia will cope with that. I think she can hold her own now. Yes, Claire is doing a great job. Thanks, Paul. Ed Keeley coming at the end, ready to see the last of the vision mixing as I fade out. Marvellous. By the way, did everybody see Ed's gear? Ed Keeley's gear. If you haven't, check it out in the group page. Somewhere in there, he's posted all this equipment. It's marvellous. I'm so jealous. It's all this technical stuff. He does it so well. Mind you, it's a lot more expensive than the Tim Pot version that I'm going. but who knows. If you want to become a patron of Vobes, check out thebaldexplorer.com. Any little thing that you can throw into the kitty really does help. It means I get further afield and do all this stuff, but I won't bang on about that. But thank you, and it's been a joy to talk to you, and we'll be back again tomorrow. The lovely Julia, ladies and gentlemen, something to look forward to. And until then, from me, the old Vobie, one-eyed Kenobi, see you tomorrow. Take care, one and all. Bye for now.